folks, the Garage. Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? 3:30 in the afternoon, the 30th of May, 2024. And ladies and germs, the verdict is in. Donald Trump, guilty on all counts. What does BBC have to say about the verdict? Well, let's tune in and see. My goodness, folks.
And Sumi, I can just tell you, Donald Trump has been found guilty on count one. Donald Trump, the first former president to be convicted in a criminal trial. This is a historic moment. This is a monumentous moment in U.S. politics, a defining one. Donald Trump continuing to shatter the norms of the nation's highest office. Donald Trump found guilty on count one. Sumi, we are going through the rest of those counts,
which equal about 34 in total. Ladies and germs, they found the man guilty. Good. What will happen? Nothing. Let's not fool ourselves, folks, as you tune into the Doug Rice Show, and I do appreciate your being here. What I don't want to do is give anyone the false hope or misrepresentation that somehow, some way, some miracle will occur, and they will hold a white man accountable for his criminal actions. A powerful, rich, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white male that has been criminalizing his way through his life, throughout his pathetic existence, and now suddenly they find him guilty on 34 counts, and I'm supposed to jump to the high heavens and hope that all things are somehow going to equal out. Everything's going to be okay. No, everything's not going to be okay. All right? They're not going to put this man in jail. They're not going to do anything that affects his ability to go straight to the Oval Office, where upon his arrival, he will look back at this and take retribution against every last one of these foolish people who thinks this fascist clown in the making will not do such a thing. He will. He will, and he has every ability to. Folks, who do they think they're talking to? I mean, who do these people think they're playing with? They haven't held a white man accountable in years. In my lifetime, I've seen very few. Listen, they're reaching back into yesteryear to grab hold of Puffy and shake him real hard, right? Simultaneously, for those of you that aren't looking at the news, Scott Peterson has been granted a new trial due to new evidence saying that he, in fact, did not kill Lacey Peterson, this cold-hearted, stone-faced, completely devoid of feelings individual who has somehow mastered a way to get himself a second chance at the legal system while they reach forward to get Sean John Combs put as deep in federal prison as he deserves to be. And that's just the way this is, folks. This is how it works. Here's a problem I have, folks. I don't know if you remember, maybe some of you don't, but I do. I remember Rob Lowe. I remember Rob Lowe being however old he was, screwing a 16-year-old, and that boy's walking free to this day. Never reached back into yesteryear, snatched him by the collar, and brought his lily white ass to justice. No, what he does is he grins and cheeses on TV, oblivious to any kind of justice that might come his way. No, folks, I don't care that Donald Trump has been found guilty. Nothing will become of it. Nothing. They'll do nothing to him. Nothing will happen. He will walk straight into the Oval Office and undo all that they have done. And then those that held him to account will be on the run. Let's not fool ourselves. All right. Now, I know you want it to be all that you want it to be. I know you want it to be that this man will somehow be put behind bars. That's not going to happen. They're not going to lock him up. You understand? They're not going to lock him up. They're not going to bring him to justice. They will not do it. First, security risk. All day, every day, security risk. He's going to be a security risk until the day he dies. Okay? And they know this. There's nothing they can do to shut him up. There's nothing they can do to stop his roll toward prophecy. And as he steps boldly toward the oblivion that this country so richly deserves, I say, cheer him on. Cheer him on. Let him fulfill the prophetic word of God Almighty. Let those 7 trumpets blare throughout the next 7 years. Who knows what the hell's going on? I just know this. Guilty on all 34 counts means nothing. It means nothing. It means nothing. Let me tell you something, folks. If you or I had suddenly been found on 34 counts of felony counts of whatever, I don't care what it is, our black asses would have been put away from the masses. They would have collected us and put us in jail. And they would have done that shit without any damn fail. They would have locked us up. But this man, having just been found guilty of 34 counts of a felony charge, walks free, still leading the presidential campaign, and will more likely be elected to president, even if by some miracle they end up putting him in jail. He can be elected from jail and be taken from jail to the Oval Office, the country that we live in, ladies and gentlemen. This is it, Negroes. I want to think most of you don't really understand the gravity of this situation. I don't think most of you understand the impact that this man has on the psyche of these Neanderthals that go about supporting him. Do you not know that they all look the exact same? They all have the exact same reddish tint. They all have the exact same dirty bleach blonde hair. They all turn beach red in the sun. They all cheer this man on, watching him run. And these folks seem to be the gravity of this country. Because as they go, so the rest of the country goes. And the slow move toward right-wing white nationalism has gripped the very throat of this country, and it's squeezing hard, denying it the air of the supposed false freedom they cry so desperately for. And that freedom, as we have learned, that freedom contains within it a spell that cries for Edom to be free of their punishment. And at the head of Edom, leading Edom toward that end, is Donald J. Trump. They will not snuff out the only opportunity they see they have to avoid the punishment they so richly deserve. They think that Donald Trump will lead them to the promised land of forgiveness and rapture. And nothing could be further from the truth as this man leads them directly into the promised prison that they so richly deserve. He will be the first to go, I'm certain of it. When they come and finally take this country into custody, I can imagine them going straight for the jugular of the country, straight for the very seat of power, should they lock up the administration first. Why not? Folks, I don't know if you don't see it coming. This rise of neo-Nazi sentiment in this country taking root in its very administration and government, carried by the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. And nobody should ever forget about Paul Gosart. That is a specimen whose own siblings called to task his sanity, called him a sociopath. These are the people that are running the country, these Edomites, these descendants of Esau. And how do we know these Roman Greco individuals led by their chief orange Cheeto is a descendant of Esau as Edom? Because we know that Kittim destroyed and conquered Edom. We found that out. Kittim, as I understand it, yes, destroyed Esau. They infected and destroyed Esau, and Kittim is the ancient call of the Roman Empire, and Kittim subjected Edom. That is a fact. That is why these individuals are who they are. That is the reason that we call for the judgment of Edom. Donald Trump is the very personification of Edom and their attitude of resentment, of entitlement. And now they've found him guilty. And let's see where it leads. I don't think it's going to lead anywhere. I think this is going to bolster his support among his supporters. I think this is going to give him the loft that he needs to elevate him straight into the Oval Office. And woe for Negroes on the day that Donald Trump takes the oath of office. If you have not left this country, I intend that intends to be the touchstone of my trying to leave, my personal attempt at trying to get out of here. Once I see Donald Trump, once I see they're serious about this thing, once I understand that they're serious about handing the reins to a convicted felon, a serial sexual assaulter, an accused child rapist, a man who has the company of child rapists, a man who doesn't succeed in business, a man who descends from racist. Look, man, this individual is at the lead, at the head of the snake, and he's making headway, for goodness sake. And I can't imagine some of you taking joy in the fact that he's been found guilty. I know that some of you, even myself, I at first said, well, they found him guilty, but they found nothing. They'll do nothing. Nothing will become of it. It will accomplish nothing except assist him into getting to the seat of power that he pursues. And again, I will tell you, folks, please listen to me carefully. I need you to hear this. Every face that pursues Donald Trump's ass legally is a black face. Every face that counts, that chops at the bit of his criminal activity, is a Negro. Every one of us should take note of the fact that this man has a building resentment against black people that will unleash itself upon his insertion into power. And the fact that so many of us are fooled and cajoled into supporting this malcontent, this vile demonic creature whose own mother wondered out loud what the fuck she had given birth to. How dare you insult the memory of the 5 brothers that he tried to have put to death through a newspaper article. He took full page ad out asking that the Central Park 5 be murdered for a crime they didn't commit, and hasn't apologized since, but wants to tell you all he'll do for black people. I don't want to see a goddamn thing that Donald Trump wants to do for black people. He's done enough, which is nothing. Right up there with Biden, both caricatures of decency, descendants of Edom. What do you think's on their mind? Our rise, please. So they found him innocent. They found him guilty. 34 counts. Big damn deal. We'll see how it shakes out. But thank you so much. Let me take a pause for the calls, and thank you again so much for tuning into the Doug Rice Show. I felt it necessary once this verdict was read to give you absolutely no hope that anything of any substance will occur. I don't want Negroes to think for a second that this man's being found guilty on any crime will bring you any satisfaction, because it will not. All it will do is catapult him into power, and at that point you need to worry. All right, folks, just give you a heads up. Got a little bit of a kind of a new background I like there. It's like that, huh? Fair use, fair use. So I wanted to show you where I get my news from, and I was able to do that and kind of, superimpose it on my own little thing there. I like that. Do you like that? To give you a heads up, I look up black news by typing it right up there. But here's some of the news that is fit to peruse. Devout Christians, why did God create Satan knowing what he would do? Dear God, what are you talking about? Another volcanic eruption hits Iceland, launching lava more than 160 feet into the air. That was an hour ago. Donald Trump told to flee New York ahead of the verdict. Well, he should have left because, well, he's still here. One of the things I did see, hopefully it is still here, is an article regarding Joe Biden. And he said something that caught my eye. I only hope that I can find it. I think it may have refreshed itself out of my vision. But wait, I do see there are a few things that might cause your derision. What's this here? Producer on The Apprentice claims Donald Trump used N-word faced with prospect of a black winner in show's first season. My goodness. My goodness, folks. This is the man they just found guilty on all counts. This man who says he used the N-word, huh? Producer of The Apprentice claims that Donald Trump used the N-word on the set of The Apprentice and that the moment was captured on tape. Still grinning? Bill Pruitt, who worked on the first seasons of the NBC reality show, writes in a story on Slate that Trump used the word while dismissing the idea that a black contestant, Kwame Jackson, could be an early winner on the series. There's been a long intrigue over the outtakes from the show and the possibility that they contained Trump using the racist phrase. Tom Arnold claimed to have seen a tape and even hosted a reality series of his own positing a hunt for the footage. So, folks, this is the guy that so many brothers and sisters come in my timeline and talk about, Donald Trump this and Donald Trump that. And it kind of irritates me. It really does. I come from back east when Donald Trump in the 80s was just a young punk, basically running around the city trying to screw everything that wasn't nailed down, snorting coke left and right, and screwing broads. That's what he did. So to imagine that this man now, some think the bastion of black awareness, when in fact he is as racist as his own father, Fred, was. Now, let me take you through a little bit of this so there are no points you do not miss. Hold on one sec here, make sure I got that right. So as you know, this is kind of how I do it, folks, just to give you a heads up. I look up black news, you can see it's up there, okay? And this is what returns to me, okay? CNN data guru declares Trump gains among black voters could be deadly to Biden. So they're talking about Trump already gaining our vote. Biden, who seems more concerned with Ukraine and Israel and immigrants, losing the black crowd in every instance, is, kind of handing the whole thing over to Trump, who, when done with the black vote that catapults him into the White House, will turn on black people in this country and make them public enemy number one. What is it about this that you folks don't understand? He intends to run Hitler's playbook using black people in this country as the Jews. What about this don't we get here? This is a bait and switch. This is not rocket science. I'm almost imagining the conversation that Hitler had with Jews before he was elected Chancellor of Germany. I'm almost imagining what Hitler promised the Jewish community. You know what I mean? I'm wondering. He started Kristallnacht. He revved up the crowd against Jews in Germany, blaming them for all their ills during World War I. And upon getting in power, he turned on these individuals and started putting them in ovens, upon which we, the United States, along with other allies, rescued their asses. And now they're showing their asses as a result. So I wonder, are we seeing the same playbook? I'm wondering, are we going to see Donald Trump get into office, turn on blacks in this country, and do everything he can to deport us? Or do everything he can to round us up and put us in FEMA camps? Listen, folks, he's got a grudge against everything with a black face. So please don't tell me that we belong in his. A laundry list of a list or a field, Biden and Trump's clashing appeals to black voters. See, notice how they're appealing to us as they want us. Playbook inside Biden's scramble to win black voters. You guys are seeing this. This is the Black News lookup that I do. Here we got the 3 black men sue American Airlines for being removed for body odor. Let me tell you a little bit about this story right here. Black men sued. They removed every black person from the plane, claiming that all the black people on the plane smelled. Now, I don't know about you folks, but no one except black folks, I think. I'm not even going to say it because I don't want to offend too many people. Dear God, give me a break. So they basically said that every black person had to leave the plane. The 3 men, along with 5 other black men, were flying from Phoenix to New York. None of them knew each other or were seated together. Just before takeoff, they were individually ordered off the plane because of a complaint about body odor. Cell phone video from one of the men shows a man telling American, who the fuck do these people think they are? They can get us kicked off because they don't like the way we smell. Have you ever sat next to one of these motherfuckers that don't pay attention to the hygiene? Do I have to remind you regarding the video I posted showing that most of them will not use a washcloth in the shower? What the fuck is that all about? Really? Don't have me go into this about this. These young men are going to be wealthy. These young men are going to have their college educations paid for. These young men are definitely going to dig deep into the pockets of American Airlines. Let's back to it. So they're going to sue them for racial discrimination. Here's another one. I want to just give you, this gives you an overview of how I review what I expose to you. UK's first black woman lawmaker dismayed by the prospect of being disbarred. What are you dismayed for? You black and you in their country. This is the world that they created on the backs of Negroes. That's when I look up black news, that's what I look up. Trump's racist, shocking apprentice secrets exposed. We got that one. Remember I told you about black bears? They'll kill this one soon. I mean, when I look up black news, black Portland police sergeant removed from gun violence team files racial discrimination suit against city. Portland police sergeant removed from the target gun violence. What is this? Black electorate is fundamentally changing. Black voters explain Trump's appeal. Please explain Trump's appeal to me. He don't like black people. What's his appeal to black people? So this is how I go about getting the interesting stuff. I wanted to kind of get to that, let you know how I get some of the material. It doesn't look very promising today, and I wanted to kind of get that out the way. Finally, it's odd that the world is falling apart. It really is. It's a crying shame that there's war everywhere, isn't it? I mean, there's war in Ukraine, there's war in Palestine, war everywhere. There's war, there's conflict, death, there's destruction. And this new world that they are enjoying seems to be falling apart. But I had a thought about the new world that they seem unable to keep together. The new world was built on the backs of the enslavement of Negroes. Everything they got, they started to get at the inception of our enslavement, taking us off our land, taking that land, taking the resources, divvying it amongst themselves as they sold us into the four corners of the earth. And the same players are involved in what's going on today. Same players, folks. Same people, Palestinians and these Israelis, these Ashkenazi converts. The ones that sold us are being slaughtered by the ones they sold us to. Isn't that something? And there's not going to be any peace on this planet until we are put back in position. There's been a vacuum created on this planet, and they won't point to us and say, these Negroes had Negro land, and for some reason they were sold out of Negro land when the Judaistic Ashkenazi Jew decided to hire the Palestinian Saudi, the Arab, to gather us up and sell us into slavery as they took all of our resources and divided amongst themselves. Folks, They're fighting over something that can't be resolved because they will continuously ignore the resolution, which is us, Negroes. That's the fact. We know who the Jew is. We know that they are a Babylonian Talmudic bastardization of our true Hebrew worship. We know that King Bulan converted this entire Khazarian group of pagan, ritualistic nomads for the sole purpose, in my opinion, of doing this very thing, of replacing us, of knowing who Negroes on the being pursued in the continent of Africa. And this could have been a pincher move of their making. Who knows? But this is the reason the world's in turmoil and chaos. And I'm going to kind of drop it right there. I know I've been at it a minute. And it won't be until the Creator returns with the kingdom and return us to our rightful position as ambassadors to the kingdom of heaven. And that'll end this. But some of these folks know where we belong. And hopefully, before too long, we'll get there. Well, folks, I got to go. I've run out of shit to say. All right. Well, this has been a good show. I kind of enjoyed it. What, 31 minutes? I like that. That's a long one. I truly hope you guys have enjoyed the content. Please do me a favor. Like, subscribe, share. I have not pined for giving today. I've not done too much of that. But if you find this effort to your liking, and you like what I do, please do me a favor if you would. Look down below there and, use Cash App as a preference because, I could sure use it. You guys know my circumstances. I want to get back to doing this on a regular basis, on a daily basis. I just felt today's show was special because they found Donald Trump guilty on 34 counts, and that'll be 34 times he'll escape any kind of justice because he's still walking around. 34 felonies, and he's still free. Listen, if you get convicted of 34 felonies in any place in this country and you are not Donald Trump, you are taken into custody from there, right then, and in jail. What are we talking about? Y'all think something's going to happen? The only thing's going to happen is his base is going to get energized. He's going to get all that support, and it's going to push him right into the Oval Office. And at that point, Negroes, you better start running. Because you can best believe they're going to start gunning. All right, folks, that's it. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you sitting here listening to my rhyme. Again, like, subscribe, share. I'm out of here. You guys have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye now.